I'm Bree, and this is TJ. In 2017, we decided to break away from the norm and travel the US in our custom 4x4 van and Airstream. We loaded up our two dogs, Madly and Brody, and hit the road. We quickly realized life on the road is full of surprises, and our name-embracing detours fit our new life perfectly. Please subscribe, and welcome to the adventure.
All alone again.
Well, we are officially alone again. First time in a few weeks now. Always bittersweet when friends and family leave. We've had an amazing time with them. It's always a killer for productivity, but that's okay. Sometimes it's good to take a break. But there's still some things here that we're interested in doing before we leave. So I think we have a couple of days left to stretch our tanks before we absolutely have to leave. And hopefully in that time we can get out and do the last few things in this area that we're interested in. The weather has turned to garbage on us. All of this wind is blowing in a cold front that is supposed to bring below freezing temperatures tonight. And we're getting a little spatter of rain at the moment. So that may turn into snow depending on if the rain keeps up through the night. It's the first week in September, and there are areas of Wyoming and Colorado that are supposed to get snow. But our area was not forecasted for it. T? What's your prediction?
No snow, says the weatherman.
You believe the weatherman, huh? You're very trusting.
Yeah.
TJ's putting away some of our stuff before it blows away. And fingers crossed we have enough propane to last us through the night tonight. What do you want? Come here, let me see. We made it through the storm last night, but that was a little sketchy. When's the last time we've been in winds like that?
A couple years ago in
New Mexico.
New Mexico, yeah. 50 mile an hour gusts last night. Through
this canyon that we're parked in. It was
rocked us pretty good. I was worried I was gonna go out this morning and like the AC covers would be ripped off or something. It was that windy.
It's hard.
But fortunately we had no damage and no big deal. So.
Yep. But that is always unnerving when you're rocking and rolling like that. And it's hard to believe that just a day or two ago we were sitting in the river to stay cool.
and 2 days from now it'll be in 85, 86 degrees again.
Yeah. So. Got below freezing last night. We did not get any snow. We're headed out this morning to fill up our propane tanks, which are running dangerously low.
Yeah. I want to top everything off, get everything ready to go, and because it's gonna be cold again tonight. It's gonna be down around 30, so
right, exactly.
You'd rather not run out of heat.
Yeah. Yep, so we're headed out to do that now. In case there was any doubt about how cold it is, that is frozen salad. How many gallons?
13.6 gallons out of 15. So we're pretty close.
We were cutting it close, holy cow.
Nice rig.
Thank you. Whew.
They're packing them in.
It's like threading a needle to get in and out of this place.
$44.
You know, honestly, for as long as that propane lasted us, and we've been using the crap out of it. We don't run it that much. We cook outside. which I guess uses propane for the grill. When it's cold, we'll use it, but we're fairly conservative with our furnace. Like, we set the temperature pretty low at night, like around 50, between 50 and 55.
We set it low and use blankets.
Exactly, and then in the morning, we'll kick it up just to kind of warm things up. And then when we take showers, we'll turn it on just long enough to heat the water up, and then when we're finished using the hot water, we turn it off. So we are conservative with our propane usage. It lasts us a really long time. So they're 30-gallon tanks, right?
230s, yep.
230s on the front of the Airstream, and then we carry a 5 around with us that's really nice and light and portable that we'll use both for the generator and the grill. So, and we just about filled them completely up. A couple of weeks ago, my phone just decided it was done and refused to turn on any longer. So I've been phoneless for a couple of weeks, which hasn't been that bad.
Technically, she hasn't been phoneless because she took control of mine.
It was a hostile takeover. We have a very good friend who offered us an old phone that he had laying around. He actually had an iPhone SE and an iPhone 11, and he liked the smaller size of the SE, and said that he'd sell us the 11 for a really fair price. More than fair, it's a killer deal. Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Well, I was also...
Thank you for getting my phone back to me, Jeff.
I was also thanking the post office for general delivery, but yes, big thank you to Jeff. All right. I have no idea how this works. There's no home button. How do you turn these new phones on? You don't know how to turn it on either, do you? Oh, all right. Well, our first stop was to pick up a replacement for something I broke. Our next stop is to drop off something that TJ broke. We keep it's basically insurance for the drone. It's called DJI Care Refresh, and you pay, I don't know, I think it might be around $100 every year.
Something like that, yeah.
To keep this, what's essentially insurance on the drone, which we've used twice now, and it will replace the drone, assuming that you can recover it. So, we've got to send it back in to DJI, and I think like in a few weeks we should have a replacement for it. Hopefully. But unfortunately there won't be any more drone shots for a while.
Not for a while.
Sorry guys. This is actually working out perfectly. All of this bubble wrap and packing material that the phone came in, we can now use to protect. I don't know why we're worrying about protecting the broken drone, but whatever. There's a lot of packing material here.
Don't get crazy.
It's a lost cause asking me not to be crazy, TJ.
That's for sure.
There's more.
We don't need all that.
I've got to use it all.
No, we're just going to make a bigger box.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry, what did you just ask for?
So this is the only size box they have that'll fit it, so I need more packaging stuff.
You mean the packaging stuff I tried to use earlier?
Just come on.
All right, we are finished with our errands and doing some, what would you call what we're doing?
Touristy stuff.
Okay, that works. We've come to the Ketchum Ore Wagon Museum, and we're hoping that it's open.
Yeah, there's a 50-50 chance that it's shut down for the season.
Yeah, when we drove by here yesterday, all the wagons were outside, and now we show up today and they're not outside anymore. They've been moved inside. So we shall see.
Told you should have got out of bed earlier.
Oh, I'm gonna get you. So we have seen these as we've been driving through town before, and we were making it a point to come today to film it. Let that be a lesson. Do not put off until tomorrow what you can do today. But they have a really great display of ore wagons that the 20 mule teams used to pull in normal years when COVID isn't going on. On Labor Day, they have a Wagon Days parade where they actually pull these wagons through town. It would be, I think, a pretty amazing thing to see. I'm so disappointed that we're not able to show you these wagons. But if you're ever in the Ketchum, Idaho area, it's a very cool thing to see. You can kind of get a little glimpse of them through the windows behind us, but there's a pretty bad glare, so we're not going to be able to get very cool shots, unfortunately. Well, guys, sorry, that was a bit of a fail. I don't know what else to say. You know, sometimes it just works out that way. We've come to Sun Valley, which, if I'm being honest, when we first got to this area, I was a little confused about what the difference was between Ketchum and Sun Valley.
Yeah, they're only about a mile apart, but it seems like they're connected in some way.
Well, so Ketchum is this town here, and Sun Valley is a ski resort, and they kind of seem to be used interchangeably. When you talk about Sun Valley, you're talking about the Ketchum area because Sun Valley is in Ketchum. You think that's true?
I guess.
That's how I understand it anyways.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, don't hold me to it. First and foremost, Sun Valley is definitely a kind of winter ski destination, but as you can see, it is absolutely gorgeous in all the other parts of the year. They've kind of given it, I don't know, it's like Bavarian or Swiss kind of feel to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. This place is, the word I used to describe it was hoity-toity. There's definitely some money here.
Yes, it's a little out of our league, we'll say.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the people in the Bentleys and the Range Rovers probably are looking down on our van a little bit. Yeah. But we don't care. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to visit.
Yeah, it's a great area. It's really pretty here. I can imagine in the winter when this is all covered in snow and you're skiing down the slopes and coming right into here in the middle of this kind of oasis we have here, that it would be a really good time and really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. History on this area. Ketchum was actually put on the map in the 1880s as a mining town.
Yep, actually the road that we're camped on, there's quite a few old gold mines up there. By
the 1930s, the mining boom had ended and the town of Ketchum had dwindled to about 100 residents. It was on the verge of becoming another mining ghost town that seemed to dot the west. So Union Pacific Railroad was actually looking for a location to build a ski resort. At that time in America, there really wasn't much in the way of ski resorts, but skiing had surged in popularity due to the Winter Olympics that were held in Lake Placid sometime in the 1930s, maybe 1932. So the chairman of the Union Pacific Railroad saw the potential for a ski resort similar to what he had experienced in Austria and Switzerland and various locations in Europe. So he went about looking for the best location in the West, close to the Union Pacific Railroad line. And long story short, ended up here in Ketchum, building what you see behind us, the Sun Valley Lodge. Yeah.
Now the Sun Valley Lodge was kind of made famous because it was accommodations for quite a few famous people at the time. Cary Grant, Gary Cooper, Ernest Hemingway actually finished For Whom the Bells Toll here in one of these rooms.
There's actually room 206 here at the lodge, yeah. And then he eventually ended up buying a home and really calling Sun Valley home. Yeah, so that's sort of how Sun Valley came to be. It's known as America's first ski resort. Stop for the day is to the Ketchum Cemetery, and the reason we're visiting a cemetery is because it's the final resting place of Ernest Hemingway. Did you find it? Oh, look at that. People left in liquor. It's a very modest grave, isn't it?
It is. I was expecting something more grand, I guess. I don't know why. It's an interesting, people have left their little trinkets, and somebody left, it looks like a bottle of bourbon or something, and pens and pencils and
lots of coins.
Lots of coins, yes.
I wonder what the coins are about. There must be some meaning behind that that we're not aware of. I find it interesting how often we've run into Ernest Hemingway in our travels.
Yep, obviously we're from Florida, then Florida Keys, he had a home down there that he did a lot of his writing.
A home in Key West, which actually when we visited there, the Hemingway cats are a pretty well-known popular thing. So he was obsessed with these Cuban cats, and they had extra toes, and apparently he must have brought some back from Cuba to Key West with him, and the descendants of his cats still live today, and they still have the extra toes. So when we were visiting his home in Key West, I joked that I was going to steal one of the kittens, because at that time we didn't have any animals. It was early in our relationship.
Yep.
And
it was the first year in our relationship we went down there.
It was.
And we came home, and I don't know why, for some reason I was in a pet store.
Which makes no sense because we didn't have any animals.
And they just happened to have two
Hemingway cats.
He ended up adopting two. So.
It was a sign. We wanted Hemingway cats, and shortly after we got home we found a couple of, really they're just deformed cats, but you know, whatever. We took it as a sign and adopted them, and that was Jack and Jules, who traveled with us for the past couple of years.
But yeah, we've run into Hemingway in the Florida Keys, obviously. Right. In Michigan.
When we were in, was it Petoskey?
Just outside of Petoskey. He was recuperating after he fought in the war.
He was injured.
And then now here in Sun Valley, which honestly I didn't know until we got to Sun Valley that he had any association with it. So,
you know, I think from what I understand, he kind of ran in those kind of popular circles, and this was a destination for kind of the who's who. Right. So that's probably, if I had to guess, that's probably what drew him to the area.
He also likes to hunt and fish.
He's an
avid
sportsman.
You know, that this is an amazing place for those kind of things if you're into that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I could see that as being a draw also.
Right, exactly. So something I learned when I was reading his Wikipedia page is that, and this is kind of an unfortunate, but it's a part of his story, is that he actually ended up committing suicide here. I didn't realize that that's how his life ended. So this is where he's laid to rest. And it's a beautiful cemetery.
It is. It's very beautiful.
Yeah. All right, headed out of Ketchum this morning. This was an a little bit of an interesting spot to get into. I don't know that it really shows on camera, but we're at a pretty good angle. This is definitely a hill. And then look at what we had to do to hitch up. Can I just say, so when you gotta...
Don't brag on yourself.
I'm gonna brag.
Next time we'll break something.
So with a normal hitch, I feel like it's not like that big of a deal to hitch up on a weird angle like this. But with the Hensley or Pro Pride hitch, it's more of like a stinger that fits into a
socket.
Okay, getting that lined up just perfectly on an angle. When you're just backing straight in, it works great. When you have to do it on an angle, sometimes it can be a challenge. How many times did it take us to get it done this morning?
2 tries this morning. It's not all that impressive.
I'm impressed. It's maybe it doesn't show, but this is a pretty severe angle we had to hitch up on. So, hey, I'm giving us a high five.
I give us a high five all the time.
All right. Yep, so headed out of here this morning. Gotta hit a dump station. It's been we're just 2 days shy of 2 weeks in this spot. So yeah, the black tank overflow, not literally overfloweth, just to be clear, but it's getting there. Yeah, getting out of here. After several weeks boondocking in gorgeous central Idaho, we're running low on necessities and it's time to find a larger town where we can reset and resupply for upcoming adventures. Join us next week when somebody gets a much needed haircut, we get almost everything done on our to-do list and head into a new state. As always, a big thank you to our patrons whose support help make these videos possible. If you'd like to help support the production of our videos, please head over to patreon.com/embracingdetours. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.